So now, please welcome the official, non-official, non-sponsor of the Savannah Bananas, but a big fan. Please welcome John Fletcher.
Well, thank you, my friend Jesse Cole, and welcome to 15 on Fridays with Fletch. Today's speaker was honored as the 2020 Small Business of the Year by the Fort Worth Business Press, and it was, well, sort of an accident. You see, Ian MacLean was never supposed to be in the landscaping business. Having grown up in the Fort Worth area and with his father working for American Airlines, Ian wanted to be an airline pilot, so he attended and graduated from one of the elite flight schools in America, the University of North Dakota. He graduated and was ready to become an airline pilot right around September 11th, 2001. Yep, 9/11. And all those airline pilot jobs disappeared overnight. Ian, who had already worked in landscaping jobs, returned to what he knew and formed Highland Landscaping, which has become one of the most respected and top performing landscaping companies in all of North Texas. This year, by the way, marks, Ian, was this the 12th year to chair Oktoberfest for Southlake?
That's correct.
12th year, and he also is ranked number 1 in Texas and number 4 Oktoberfest in the United States. He's a man of faith. He created Mission in the Marketplace, a ministry event that we hope will return in 2026. He chaired the Southlake Chamber, and he worked his way up and chaired the Small Business Council of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. He's the voice of small business and a very successful owner of Highland Landscaping. My friend, my brother in Christ, Ian MacLean. Ian, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
So glad to be here with you today, Fletch.
So tell me about why you chose to become chairman of the Southlake Chamber.
Well, I would like to say I chose that, but it kind of chose me. I was asked to help on the committee, and I did a really great job in the role that I had the first year I was involved. The current chair was stepping down from running the event. I came in as the vice chair the next year, and then rolled into being the chair of the event the year after that. So that darn work ethic of mine caused me to end up running the whole thing.
Well, and also you chaired the chamber twice, not just 1 year, but 2 times.
That's correct.
Yeah, because you were doing it one time, and then the guy who's going to follow you moved away, and there you were with your heart for service. You jumped in and you did it again, and you helped the chamber continue to grow.
That's correct.
But tell us about the Southlake Oktoberfest being rated number 1 in Texas and number 4 in America. What makes Southlake's event so distinctly successful?
Well, so let's go right off the bat and talk about all the free stuff. So you've got free parking, free admission, and a lot of free entertainment. And that free entertainment consists of live music on 3 different stages at different ends of the event, Wiener Dog Races, Stein Hoisting contests, dog costume contests, and lots of games, some authentic German games like Hammerschlagen that we've got set up throughout the event that you can play for free. So there's a lot of free stuff compared to other events. I'm just going to use the state fair where a family of 5 has paid over $100 just by the time they walked in the door, and they haven't got a single corn dog or deep fried Oreo. You're in our event for free, and you can do a lot of things to enjoy yourself for free, and it's in the beautiful Southlake Town Square, which is an incredible venue for an event. Then there are some really cool paid stuff that we have as well at the event, which of course includes one of everybody's favorite things, the German food and beer. We've got also a plethora of arts and crafts vendors, an enormous food offering outside of the German food, and a place that you can park the kiddos in the kids zone while you're off shopping at arts and crafts or listening to live music and drinking some of our delicious German libations.
So tell us what a Hammerschlagen is.
So Hammerschlagen originally is a German drinking game, but you can play it as a drinking game or a non-drinking game. It's got you have a stump, which is what you play on, and you start a nail in the stump and get it just so the tip of the nail is in the stump, and then the hammer you use is hollow in the center. So you have to take turns trying to get your nail hammered in all the way. You get 1 turn per person going around in a circle, and the edge of the hammer has to hit the nail in order to make progress in getting the nail hammered in. Once your nail is flush with the top of the log, you've won.
Wow. So tell us what you enjoy most about Oktoberfest.
Well, admittedly, my favorite part is the fantastic food. I have to make a plan at the beginning of the weekend of how I'm going to get to all the food vendors that I want to get food from at different meals and make sure I hit all my favorites.
And now you've gone to Oktoberfest actually in Germany too, correct?
I've not been to the German Oktoberfest. I was in Germany for the 500-year anniversary of the purity law that pertains to what you can make beer out of. It's the oldest food standard law on record in the world. And so the 500-year anniversary was Reinheitsgebot, and I was there for that. The entire country was a party.
I remember seeing some of the videos of that. So that was pretty cool. Tell us what's the most amazing thing that you've seen with Oktoberfest.
The most amazing thing. Well, I'm going to highlight the gigantic, towering Wiener Dog inflatable that we added this year. And we found out that if there's a rain shower like there was Saturday morning, the top of his hat fills up with water, and at some point during the day, the inflatable will tip over and hundreds of gallons of water will spill onto whoever is standing in front of it, which was a volunteer getting her picture taken. So,
Wow, that's amazing. And so
yeah.
tell us the oddest thing about Oktoberfest. What's something that people say, wow, we never thought we'd see this here?
Well, I think uh, the comment that people make about our event is the Wiener Dog Races. Now, the Wiener Dog Races and the costume contests bring out a lot of people with their pets. And so, one of the funny things that I see every year is people that participate in the costume contest have a matching costume for themselves and their dog. So, it's hilarious seeing the creative costumes that people are walking around with for the costume contest, and then of course they just keep the costumes on the rest of the day. And the number of wiener dogs that we have in the races is tremendous. We had over 100 dogs registered to race this year. So there's
That's incredible.
yeah.
So tell me, do people score extra points if their attire, if their outfit matches the dog? Is the contest totally on the dog, or is it on the dog and the owner?
The contest is on the dog, but of course you get secret bonus points if you're also dressed up in a costume.
Right. So I know one thing you've seen in the last few months, and really in the last year or so, security has changed in all kinds of events. How much more security does Oktoberfest have now versus in the past? And just kind of give us some comfort of how safe we are when we're there.
So we make it literally impossible for someone to drive into the footprint in an unauthorized way. We've got vehicles that are blocking passage into any of the gates. So there's no way that somebody can drive a vehicle into the footprint of the event. We've got, in addition to a very strong presence of police in the square, we also have our own private security on top of the police that guard every gate. We have plainclothes and uniformed rovers in the crowd. We have people looking down on the event from rooftops. And the security that company that we use has all of their people are former military, police, or special forces. So we've got some really capable people making sure that we have the safest Oktoberfest in the United States.
So what impresses people the most about Oktoberfest? Obviously, all the free items and the entertainment, but what else are people talking about as they're walking around or walking out?
Well, the comment we continue to get in our surveys is people are impressed and enjoy the amount of food, the vast food offering that we have. But the food and the beer are always two of the most popular things. I think what we're going to see from this year are going to be comments on the new stage sound and lights that we put in for our main stage. We really upped our game on the the new stage, and it even has pyrotechnics associated with it, but the sound was fantastic. The lights were excellent, and we have a video wall behind the bands while they're playing, so that's a really nice backdrop. So all three of our stages are fantastic. The main stage now is really upper crust.
Well, and a lot of what makes Oktoberfest in that whole downtown area, the Southlake Town Square, you helped to do a lot of that decoration yourself through your own landscaping company. Tell us about that.
So we have a team that comes out every year. It's probably the equivalent of 3 landscape crews, and we stage the footprint of the event with decorations, mostly fall harvest type things, custom made centerpieces in the tables in the beer garden and in the festival hall. And then we do some custom stuff for a few of the sponsors and so forth as well. But we really transform the town square into a fall festival, German Oktoberfest. And there's lots of things like facades of German-looking houses and buildings and things like that get set up. So it kind of feels like a departure from Texas, as long as it's not too hot that day.
That's right. And you had a lot more. Sure, you had about 3 hours of rain off and on, but aside from that, the temperatures were perfect on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that was wonderful. What can we expect in 2026 from Oktoberfest? What is a new twist that you're already talking about?
So we always mash things up a little bit on the different artists that are performing, so it's not the same every year. So we'll be looking at a different headliner band than we had this year, and then we're planning an investment into adding more decor. So that might look like new signs, more German signs, and more German building facades. So as you're walking down the different streets of Southlake Oktoberfest, you're going to see even more of that authentic German flair.
That's cool. As we have a couple minutes left, tell me about when you chaired the U.S. Chamber Small Business Council. You're the voice of small business during that 2-year period. So tell us about the significance of your role and how that also benefited the visibility of Southlake as a community.
Sure. All right. So our committee, the council rather, is made up of just under 100 business owners who are all over the United States. And have different types of business models in different industries. So the purpose of the council is to gather data from all these different locations, industries, and business models and bring them to the table in the national discussion. So we just got back from Washington, D.C. 2 weeks ago, where we gathered data throughout the United States and brought our needs to members of Congress and the members of the administration in power. So that for different members of the council look like different things, but we try to represent as many businesses and industries as we can, while of course discussing things for our own business, which is the reason we're on the council. But really, between our businesses that are members of the chamber and the 30 million other small businesses, we are definitely the leading voice for small business in the United States.
Well, and then also last Wednesday, the 15th, was Support Your Local Chamber of Commerce Day. Just give us real quickly the significance of how your local Chamber of Commerce in Southlake has benefited you.
So I always like to draw the analogy of the local chamber is a conduit, and where I'm at one end of the conduit in Washington, D.C., which is, of course, not where I live in my businesses, which is in Southlake, Texas, and I live in Keller. But when I'm in that role in Washington, D.C., I'm at one end of the conduit, and the other end of the conduit is the local chamber. So that's where I'm getting a lot of my data from. So the value of being involved in the local chamber is your business issues are making their way to Washington, D.C. through that conduit. Of course, I always encourage people to take the time to meet with their member of Congress or their staff and give them that information directly. But if you don't want to carve out the time to do that, you can do that through your local chamber. And our local chamber in Southlake is great too, because we've got a great working relationship with the city, including the, public works, tourism, you name the department, and the Southlake Chamber's got a contact there that we can use to bring any issue that you've got for your business right to the city leadership and be a powerful voice in their ear.
Yes. So Ian MacLean, thank you again for joining us for 15 on Fridays with Fletch. Join us again next week when we have legendary rodeo announcer Bob Tallman. Ian, thanks again.
My pleasure. God bless, brother.